You still have that one hoodie, the one that doesn't even fit right anymore, but you can't throw it away. You still have text saved from someone who's been out of your life for years. You still get a lump in your throat when a song comes on shuffle, a song from a chapter you thought you'd closed. And here's the thing nobody talks about. You're not dramatic. You're not weak. You're not too much. You just attach. And that one quiet truth changes everything about who you are, how you love, and why leaving anything, even when you know you should, feels like leaving a piece of yourself behind. Today, we're going deep into the psychology of people who attach to everything. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to understand yourself in a way you never have before. Most people think attachment is just about people, about relationships, about love. But that's only the surface. Psychologists define attachment as the deep emotional bond that forms when something or someone becomes connected to your sense of safety, identity, or meaning. And for some people, not all people, but some, that process happens faster, runs deeper, and applies to almost everything. A mug, a playlist, a parking spot they've used for 3 years at the same job, a routine, a city, a version of themselves they used to be. Why? Because attachment, at its core, is not about the object, it's about what the object represents. That hoodie doesn't just keep you warm, it holds the memory of a time when life felt simpler, when someone you loved was still around, when you were a version of yourself that felt real. The brain doesn't separate the two. The neuroscience is clear. When we form emotional memories, they attach to objects, places, and people through a process involving the amygdala and hippocampus working together. The memory lives in the thing. And for highly attached people, those memory-object bonds form so quickly and run so deep that losing the object feels like losing the memory itself. Here's where it gets really interesting and a little vulnerable. People who attach to everything didn't just wake up this way. This pattern almost always has roots. Research into attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth, tells us that the way we bond as adults mirrors the attachment style we developed as children. Children who grew up in environments where love or safety felt unpredictable learned something early: hold on tight, because things disappear, people leave, good moments end. So the nervous system adapts. It starts clinging, not out of neediness, but out of survival. And this doesn't only happen with neglect or trauma. It can happen when a parent was loving but emotionally inconsistent, warm one day, distant the next. It can happen after early loss, after a move, after a disruption during the years when the brain was still learning what safe means. The child who learns that good things disappear becomes the adult who can't let go of anything good. And the fascinating part? Most of these people don't even realize this is the story running underneath. They just know that saying goodbye to a person, a job, a place, a season of life costs them more than it seems to cost everyone else. Let me paint you a picture. This person, maybe you, notices things other people walk past. They remember the exact way a room smelled on a specific afternoon 3 years ago. They still have birthday cards in a drawer they can't bring themselves to throw away. They grieve the end of TV shows like they lost a friend. They feel something when they hear an old ringtone, because it belonged to a particular era of their life. They are loyal to a degree that sometimes hurts them. They stay in situations too long, not because they're weak, but because leaving feels like abandonment, and they know better than anyone what that feels like. They feel things deeply in nature, a sunset, a quiet street at night, rain on a window. They make places feel like people, and people feel like home. And here is what nobody tells them. This is not a flaw. This is a form of emotional intelligence that the world desperately undervalues. The same brain that can't throw away a parking ticket from a road trip in 2019 is the same brain that remembers your birthday, that notices when your tone of voice changed, that shows up for people in ways that make others feel truly, genuinely seen. The depth cuts both ways.
The grief runs deep, yes, but so does the love. But let's be honest, because being someone who attaches to everything has real costs. The first is grief accumulation. When you attach deeply to everything, endings don't really end for you. They stack. A move, a breakup, a friend drifting away, a job chapter closing. For most people, these things fade over months. For highly attached people, they layer, one grief sitting on top of another, each new ending reopening the older ones. This is why highly attached people can seem disproportionately affected by small things. It's rarely just the small thing, it's every small thing and every big thing underneath. The second cost is difficulty with change. Change, by definition, means losing the version of reality you've come to know. And if you've formed emotional bonds with how things are, your morning coffee shop, your commute, your old apartment, any change feels like loss. This can make growth painful, even when that growth is good. The third cost, and this one is quiet but devastating, is that these people often feel misunderstood. They hear, it's just a house, it's just a job, it's just a song, just move on. And they stand there feeling everything with no language for why this is not just anything. Here's what I want you to sit with. Every single thing that makes attachment painful is the exact same thing that makes it powerful. The person who grieves deeply loves deeply. The person who can't let go never makes anyone feel disposable. The person who is loyal past the point of reason is the person who will still be there when everyone else has walked away. There's a concept in psychology called post-traumatic growth, the idea that the very experiences that break us open can also deepen us in ways that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. But I'd go further. I'd call it attachment-born depth. The person who attaches to everything has a gift that most people will spend their whole lives trying to cultivate. They are fully, completely, almost painfully present. They don't half love things. They don't half experience things. They show up, they feel it all, they let it matter. And in a world that is constantly rushing to the next thing, that is revolutionary. Now, healing for a person who attaches to everything does not look like learning to care less. Let me say that again. Healing is not becoming someone who attaches to fewer things. Healing is learning to hold what you love without gripping it. Psychologists call this the concept of non-attachment, borrowed both from clinical psychology and Buddhist philosophy, which is not about detachment, but about loving something fully while making peace with the fact that it is not permanent. It's the difference between, I love this so much it will destroy me when it ends, and I love this so much and I will love it completely for as long as it's here. Practically, this means a few things. One, naming the attachment. When you feel that pull, that resistance to letting go, instead of fighting it, say, I'm attaching. Something about this feels like safety or identity to me. What is it? Two, separating the memory from the object. You don't need the hoodie to keep the memory. The memory lives in you, not in the fabric. 3, creating intentional rituals of goodbye. Instead of abrupt endings, give yourself a ceremony, a last walk through the apartment, a final listen to the song, a journal entry, a thank you. The attached person needs transition, not just termination. And 4, finding a community of people who feel the same way. Because one of the deepest wounds these people carry is the belief that they are alone in feeling this way. You are not alone. You were never alone. Now, if this video found you at the right moment, if something in here felt like it was written about you, there is an entire community of people on this channel exploring exactly these kinds of questions. We don't do surface level here. We go where the real things live. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe, because next Thursday we're going somewhere even deeper, and I don't want you to miss it. If this video hit something real for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You might just change their whole day. I'll see you in the next one.